So hi, I hope that you're all doing fine, despite of the pandemic going on. And as promised, I'm back to talk to you about the books I've read in January. And I might add at the end of this video a little shout out to other booktubers. So as I said, today I'm going to talk to you about Goldie Goldbloom's book. The title in English is On Division. The French title is Division Avenue. So it's the same actually. It's the same avenue in Brooklyn or New York City. So it's a story about this close-knit Jewish community in Brooklyn, the Chassidic community. We don't call it this way in French, so I had to look the word up. So Goldie Goldbloom actually is Australian. She's not American. But she set the story in Brooklyn. And you follow the character Suri Eckstein, or Eckstein, I don't know how you pronounce it in English. She's 57 years old, and she's soon to be a great-grandmother. She's had 10 kids and 32 grandchildren. She lives with actually her 3 youngest sons and her husband, a lovely, kind husband, Udel. And she also shares actually this building with her in-laws. They're from Romania and they're both blind. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat playing in the background. And her eldest daughter actually also lives in the building with her own family. So, a lot of things going on. She's a devoted mother. She's always enjoyed her life. I mean, really. Her husband is a scribe in French. And she wed actually him when she was 16. And it's a real, true love marriage. I mean, it's a beautiful marriage. They really live their faith happily. But sometimes God brings you surprises and late surprises, and this one is not really a good one because Suri finds out that she's pregnant. Yes, she's 57 years old and she's pregnant, and not only with 1 child but 2. Yes, so it's definitely a shock and an aberration for her. I mean, a great-grandmother cannot be pregnant. And also it's like a public display of her sex life, her private life, that she cannot accept. She cannot actually accept the fact that the community around her will talk about it, like how come she's pregnant at 57 and how her own children will react to it. So she decides to keep it as a secret, and Suri has to deal with another secret that she cannot actually tolerate anymore, and it's devouring her inside out. It's the death of her 24-year-old son Lipa 4 years ago, and but his name now is a synonym to shame, so his name is never pronounced. We never talk about him as if he has never existed. Actually, even our grandchildren don't know that they had an uncle named Lipa. And that's something that Suri cannot accept any longer. I really enjoyed Suri's character. I would say that it's a great book if you want to know more about the Chassidic community. On Division is mainly a story of this, awakening at middle age of this woman. She never thought on her own before. To me, she always considered herself like just a chain link, of a huge chain. And herself is a collective, or actually was until then, until now. And slowly she's going to find some empowerment by keeping this secret, and by going out into the world every Sunday and meeting other people. And it's all new to her, and she has never had any second thoughts about a way of life before, or the fact that even like Lipa's name was not pronounced, everything. Now it has changed. Also, what I love about this book is how the author describes this close-knit community and this long beautiful marriage, because their marriage is beautiful. I mean, they've been married for over 40 years and they really love each other. And even though her husband is totally unaware of her pregnancy, but you can understand why, because you don't, I mean, I wouldn't even think that a woman at 57 years old could be pregnant. So, but still, you know, there are some changes. She's actually getting fatter and fatter, and her daughter doesn't see it and just tell her, you know, how she could try to lose weight. So it's like this secret growing inside her, and they're totally blind. So it's really interesting. And the other part of the story is, of course, Lipa's own story, and it shows how this community still today is very intolerant to anything different. You don't think different, you don't act different, you have to follow the rules, and it's sad, really sad. And that's my cat. Sorry, she's here. No, you know that I have a cat. So yes, it's a beautiful portrait of a woman, and it's one of my best reads of January. So the second book I want to talk to you about is the number 2 in the René Blackbear Mysteries series, Girl Gone Missing by Marcie R. Rendon. So the first one was Murder on the Red River. Beautiful cover. You have to agree with me. And so I've read that one already, of course, and now I've just read this one. First of all, Marcie R. Rendon is an enrolled member of the White Earth Anishinaabe Nation in Minnesota, and Girl Gone Missing is the second book in the René Blackbear Mysteries. René Blackbear is a young 19-year-old Chippewa woman who has lived all her life in Fargo, Minnesota. And she has one friend, the Sheriff Wheaton. He's a father figure. He was the one to pull her from her mother's wrecked car when she was 3 years old. So after the accident, she and her brother and sister were put in foster care, and they lost touch with each other. And she ended up working in farms, because at that time, because I haven't told you yet, but the action actually takes place in 1970. So yes, that's a long time ago, but it's really not interesting. Great period to write about. So she's been, you know, put into this family, farmers' families, as labor. They were really labor. Not like, you know, adopted children. She never felt at home. She never stayed in touch with her families. And as soon as she could actually leave the farm, she did. So she got her own place at the age of 16. She still drives trucks, so that's her main actually job. And right now she is doing it because it's beets season, so she's being hired to drive trucks. And other than that, she spends a lot of time actually in a bar at night playing pool, because she's really good at it. And, you know, she plays money. So she and her longtime partner, in game and sometimes in bed, but not all the time, they play pool and they make money. So Cash starts to, you know, take these classes at university, and she goes there, but she doesn't have anything in common with the students. You know, most of them, you know, are white, these very tall, blonde, Scandinavian type girls, and it's in 1970, so, you know, hippies, flowers and everything. And Cash doesn't have anything in common with his girls. You know, she talks about mechanics, about, you know, drinking beer or pool, playing pool, and of course they have nothing in common. But she does have one friend, actually, a blonde girl who's actually dating an Indian guy, and who actually befriends Cash. And one day she tells her that one of the girls of their classes, a blonde girl, has gone missing. So Cash is actually intrigued by this disappearance and decides to actually investigate. In her first book of the series, she was actually investigating the death of an Indian that was found. His body was found on the road, and nobody actually even cared about, you know, his death. the sheriff did, but no one else, because he was Indian. He was from a nearby res, and nobody actually, you know, gave a damn about his death, but Cash did, and she led the investigation. So when this blonde girl goes missing, Cash does what she's good at, so she starts to investigate. So now you know that I'm very fond of this series, and I'm really glad that I could actually talk to you about it, because I'm not sure that many people know about Marcie R. Rendon's books. So please, if you have a chance to, you know, get a copy of it, do it, and read and learn about Cash. The third book I'm going to talk to you about is Les Vilaines. Actually, it's a French edition. The real edition is called Las Malas by Camila Sosa Villada. She's an Argentinian author. So the book is actually first written in Spanish and translated into French by, just a second, Laura Alcoba. So the action takes place, or the story takes place in Cordoba, in Argentina. And you follow actually the story of a young student whose name is never actually told, but he has come to Cordoba to study, and he's actually a transgender, and he considers himself, you know, as being a woman. So he's chosen the name Camila, and he's at night, you know, he becomes Camila, and he's fully himself and happy to be able actually to express his femininity and his real self, because where it comes from, it's a small village, you know, and Catholicism in Argentina is very strong, and religion doesn't accept transgender people. So in Cordoba, he believes he has a chance, you know, to actually express himself freely. But as soon he learned that the only way he can express himself is at night, and at night the only transgender people you meet are actually prostitutes, and there's a small but close-knit community of transgender prostitutes in Cordoba, and they all actually look upon the aunt, la tante, la tia, and Carna. And Carna, she's like this amazing old woman. She's like in her 70s, and she's wearing those high heels, and she's known so much about what it is to be, you know, a trans woman in Argentina in the 80s, and in the past, of course, in the 50 years, you know, before, and how she has met so many people, and she has been through so much, but she's been able to buy her own house, which is really something important. And now she actually takes care of all these young women in her home and in the park where they go at night, because every night they go at the park Sarmiento in Cordoba to meet their clients. This book is like receiving a punch in the stomach. Really. It's not an easy read. So if you can read Spanish, buy it. It's called Las Malas. It's been translated into German, but not English yet. But it will. Daily battle for Camila to exist on her own as herself, you know, every single day. So I've had such a hard time reading this book, because violence, blood, hatred, there's so much into this book, but there's so much love too, because the end, and Carna is gonna find actually in the park one night in a basket a baby, yes, and she's gonna keep the baby, despite you know the fact that she's old, and she shouldn't keep the baby, but she will keep him, because, you know, for her it's like the last chance to be a mother. So, and all the prostitutes also want to be you know, moms. So it's a beautiful story about love, and there's light, you know, with this child, but the world is so violent, and the world is so ignorant and so resistant to anything different, that of course things are not going to go the way you would hope it would go. But it's wow. This book is, I can only say wow. So please translate it into English, because I'm sure it would be a bestseller in the US if it was translated. Another book I would just want to talk to you a little bit, because it hasn't been translated into English. All his other books have been translated, so you can find his books. His name is Arnaldur Indridason. I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. It's probably Arnaldur Indridason. I should check it out before. And to me, he's like the Icelandic Simenon. Georges Simenon is a famous French writer who created the character of the Commissaire Maigret. But Arnaldur Indridason mainly writes about the history of his own country and the past and the regrets, and it's not about, actually finding out who killed who. It's about meeting people and their lives, and they deal, with tragedies or cannot deal with them. It's a slow pace investigation. No, actually, guns, no weapons, no violence. It's a very slow-paced crime novel. It's in Europe, but it's a tiny little country with a very troubled past, and it's always fascinating for me to read his books, because I learned so much about this country. And as I said before, this is the account of Hannah Gracedel. She's a newbie on YouTube, and I really like her videos. The flow is really nice, and her voice is soothing. So please go and watch her videos. She's really nice. And this is Karen at RunWrightReads. I thought she was a newbie. I don't know why, because on her first page, our YouTube account, you can see only a few videos, but actually she's been here for a while, and I really like her tone, her books, her style, and everything. So yes, a good booktuber. And last but not least, Charlotte of Charreads. I really like her smile, her joyful videos. I like actually the books she reads too. We have a common taste. And I like the dynamics in her videos. She seems so comfortable in front of the camera. I really like her channel.